What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamer Dad channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. The word on the streets is there will be no follow-up to a Destiny game at the moment. That's what we know for now, seeing how there are challenges. So my last video, I talked about how the streets out here are rough, and Ubisoft Massive and its leadership really do need to take heed as to the direction that they're going with a lot of the decisions that they're making. Not saying that Ubisoft Massive is making any bad decisions at this moment, because one thing about game development is you don't know what your decisions are going to materialize to when time actually comes. It takes you a while to be able to realize, oops, we did it, or oops, we did it. So what I mean by that, and I'm not making light of anything, I'm just, tongue in cheek saying that this is not the easiest thing to be able to predict, is if you think about Ubisoft Massive's last two games, none of them so far has received the reception or excitement like the Division 2 or even the Division 1. This is just from market analysis. This is just from looking at videos from 12 years ago, 8 years ago, 6 years ago. The Division really did break the internet. It was one of those games that even people who are not RPG looter shooter players, they looked at a Tom Clancy game and thought maybe they could invest in it, but everybody eventually went their way when they realized either they could, vibe with the game or could not vibe with the game. So what is the crux of this video? The crux of this video is there's an opportunity right now in the market. Ubisoft Massive is working on a Division 3 game, a game that is tailored to a specific audience that many other studios have not necessarily been able to penetrate in terms of the market. So what needs to happen is they need to capitalize upon this and become the dominant force in the looter shooter genre. Now, this does not mean that at their heels, there are no other developers that are actually trying to take the crown from them or take what I think is, the title away from their hand in terms of the looter shooter third-person genre. But they seem to have an advantage in terms of having a code base, having an established audience, having two games, having to know what is right and wrong and what appeals to, gamers and what does not appeal to gamers. So this is where they need to take that opportunity. And if they don't take the opportunity, like I've always been saying, there will be somebody who comes in to take the opportunity. In fact, this doesn't mean even that, no one is actually thinking or conceptualizing, a concept that is close to this. It just means for now, we've not seen anybody materialize it. But concepts like this all the time will show their heads. And again, it's a risky market in a sense. So you'll probably see a lot of investors basically, in a sense, be deterred from this. But the more we continue to move into this whole gaming space with accessibility of, tools and knowledge for, independent developers and even third-party developers to leverage stuff like this, you're going to start seeing more and more developers coming close, especially now that Destiny is, and Bungie is in a strange place. I can tell you that right now the sharks are basically circling around this particular genre, and many may be wanting to come in and invest into it and be able to build something like this. And ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that this is the way, that we're going to see the market move. However, I think Ubisoft Massive has a head start. This head start needs to be capitalized upon more than anything else, because the fact that this is actually even a conversation means that the fans stand to benefit a lot. But at the same time, there's a risk that the fans have a lot to lose, because if they do not nail it, then the fans are basically going to be in limbo in a sense, if you get what I mean. I mean, think about how many people felt with the Division 2. Think about how long it took many OG Division 1 players to adopt the Division 2, because some of them eventually were like, okay. But I know for sure that many OG Division 1 players were very adamant about coming into this ecosystem. They didn't necessarily see a lot of what made the Division 1 special in the Division 2, but even though Division 2 has its own specialness in a sense, I think the core of what the Division 1 brought needs to be, in my opinion, the focus with the marketing geared towards today's audience and possibly try to, in a sense, foster a user base that can actually be representative of the 40 million people who have ever even touched the Division as a whole. This, in my opinion, should be where the efforts are actually, based and focused on. A lot of the shenaniganry that we're seeing in the gaming industry, and many of you know what I'm talking about right now, that's coming from all sources, publishers, developers, gamers, all of that needs to be tabled and shelved and let pure development go on and let pure ideas in terms of what will make the game a solid ecosystem for gamers. Those things need to be at the front and the center. And I think right now is not the time to play around. Game studios have been playing around for the last few years. They got all this COVID, influx of gamers, and they thought that was going to be the norm. That was an abnormality that we hope to never see again, simply because of the conditions of which we got, that kind of a gaming industry. So the gaming industry getting super fat, in quote, right now is going to need some thinning, and man, everybody better hone down their craft, because what's going on right now is there are going to be winners and there are also going to be losers in this competition that we're seeing. So for the division, for those of us who are into this franchise, we want to see this franchise be in the winning category. And now that one player is in a strange place, the other player really has, in my opinion, much less to lose and everything basically to gain. However, their attitude and the way they actually approach this would need to be from a slightly different mentality. Hope they have it. Hope to see what they put together. I'm looking forward to hearing more news about the Division 3, and I'm sure many of you are in the community as well. And we'll see how the developers basically approach this. Thanks for watching the video. Appreciate you guys' time and audience. Hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.